Good morning. My name is Melanie. Welcome to Serasana Virtual. We will be we'll be having a gentle class this morning. Any questions, comments, requests, please feel free to send those to us at our email on Serasana Virtual. Items you'll need if you haven't already grabbed your blanket, created this little bolster-like roll, something to support the head behind us, and then 2 rolled up beach towels. So find yourself on your bottom, facing the long end of the mat. Support your frame down, so you'll begin to lower the base of your body down onto the rolled up blanket or your bolster. If you'd like to support your head, this is where your books or that block rest. As that blocks or the books that you have rest here, you'll slide your beach towels or yoga blankets close to your hips, bringing the soles of your feet together, coming into a butterfly position. Those arms are out to your side. As those arms come out to your side, go ahead and draw a full breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, sigh that breath out, release. Inhale through your nose. Exhale to open mouth sigh, let that breath go. One more big giant cleansing breath in through the nose, filling the belly. Letting that breath go. Relaxing the hands to your sides, feeling your back resting comfortably, supported by the props that you're on. Releasing those thighs. Begin drawing that breath in and out of the nose. As you begin breathing in and out of your nose, constrict the back of the throat. And as you constrict the back of your throat, taking the tongue, pressing the tip of it to the roof of your mouth, if your energy feels good this morning. If you're feeling a little tired at this moment, then just let that breath either be natural or let the tongue rest comfortably within your mouth. Allow yourself to wiggle those fingers, maybe even make a small fist, and then expand those fingers, letting them curl naturally. Maybe with your head on your books or on the block, you begin to roll the head from right side of the room to left side of the room. And you return the head back to stillness. Perhaps you wiggle your back slightly, getting even more comfortable. As the soles of the feet touch, begin to take your toes away from one another. So now you're pressing to the balls and maybe the heels of your feet. And then you'll exhale, relax and release those toes to touch one another once more. Noticing how the hips can release. You'll continue breathing in and out of the nose. Feeling the shoulders drift away from the ears. Letting the hips relax and release further onto the mat. Bringing complete awareness to your body. Take a soft, gentle scan. You'll scan from the crown of the head, down through your trunk, reaching the hips, and working your way down to your feet. You're observing. There's no judgment. You'll travel the opposite way now. Working your way from the feet to the hips, and then from your hips up through the trunk and towards the top or the crown of the head. Just make a mental note of what you noticed, of how you feel, and know that there's no particular way you should feel or shouldn't feel. It's just accepting what is. As you accept what is, we'll begin to set an intention or a dedication or even practice with our personal mantra. Today, I invite you to perhaps work with releasing, to release, to let go. And there can be a number of things that need to be released. They can be emotions that are trapped within our tissue. It can be thoughts. Whatever it is for you, find yourself releasing, letting go. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly felt that you could let go and be at peace? As you take your next breath in, you can keep those eyes closed, or you're welcome to flutter them open and maybe smile. And then inhale, extend and reach those arms over your head. Being careful with the shoulders, being careful with your spine. And then you'll exhale, slide those palms down by your thighs, bringing those knees together like you're closing a book. If you have your beach towels, your blankets, slide them over to one side, let your knees kiss, palms are down, and then begin to windshield wiper your legs right side to left side. You may have noticed a crackle in the low spine, and if that's the case, as long as it wasn't hurtful, you're fine. But if anything feels uncomfortable, be sure to give yourself grace today. Know when you need to stop and back off. Find stillness now, letting those knees kiss and keeping the feet separated towards the edges of the mat. You'll breathe in through your nose, expanding the chest, and you'll exhale to let that breath go. Heel toe your feet back towards one another. Using your right hand as an anchor, you'll begin to roll over towards your right side, off of the block, off of the support from the back, bringing that left hand in front of your abdomen. Once you release into this side or fetal position, remove your block. Slide that bolster or that blanket away from the body. Let yourself rest here for just a moment. Take that full breath in. Press into your left fingertips, lifting and rising all the way up. As you lift and rise all the way up, you'll find your way into a comfortable seated position or that easy seat. As you find yourself in easy seat, draw a breath in, rise up nice and tall. And as you exhale, drop the shoulders down, anchor through your sits bones, arms out to our sides when you're ready, and then inhale, sweep those arms up, palms kiss, gaze can be up. Exhale, the hands come into prayer and at your heart space. Inhale, pull your shoulders up. Exhale, roll your shoulders down. Inhale, circle sweep those arms back up towards the sky. Exhale, release that right hand to the right edge of the room. Extend the left fingertips towards that right. Keep your left hip anchored. Relax that left shoulder away from your ear. Engage through the earth as you press your fingertips on this right side into the mat. Take another breath here. Inhale, both arms reach back up towards the sky. Exhale, we'll pull the heads of our elbows down. We'll expand the heart, stretching and expanding through the pecs as well. Inhale, our arms reach up. Exhale, that left hand goes to the left edge. We reach the right fingertips over. You can gaze anywhere from the ground forward up to that ceiling. Wherever you're at, engage this right side of your body, relaxing the shoulders away from your ears. Draw the breath in here, press the fingertips into the earth, let that breath go here. And both arms reach up towards the sky. Our palms will kiss, and exhale, our hands will come into prayer and at our heart space. We'll inhale, pull our shoulders up, and we'll exhale, roll those shoulders down. On our next breath in, extend your arms forward, scoop like you're holding a cup or you're holding a bar. As you exhale, slide the right arm underneath, bend that right elbow, send the left arm over towards that right side. Relax the left shoulder, draw a breath in here. And as you exhale, look over to that left side. Take one more breath here. On your next breath in, look forward. The palms point down. They come towards the front of the room. On your next breath in, the arms reach up, and then you'll exhale, circle sweep them down. Inhale, you'll bring them forward. Exhale, you'll circle sweep them down. Bring that opposite arm now in front. Exhale, bring them down. So rotate. Right arm in front, left arm in back. Last one, inhale, left arm in front, right arm in back. Exhale, the palms down. Inhale, the hands come into prayer and at your heart space. As you draw this next breath in, those arms extend out once more like a scoop. You'll switch it out the opposite side. So you'll go ahead and instead of right arm, left arm, excuse me, I made a boo-boo. Go ahead and take your right arm over towards that right side, hook that left arm. Draw a breath in, shoulders down, and as you exhale, look over towards that right side if it's comfy for your neck. If it's uncomfortable, just neutralize your gaze and look directly towards the front. Close the eyes if you feel that's appropriate in your mind and your body. Release expectations. Let go of any to-do list. Feel the muscles opening up, being responsive to your breath, to your needs. Take one more breath in. Let that breath go. On our next inhale, we'll look forward. And then those arms come forward, palms down. Inhale, those arms reach up. Exhale, they sweep down. Opposite arm forward, extending up. Opposite arm forward, so it's the right. Last time, left one up. And then exhale those palms down. On our next breath in, we'll reach up towards the sky. Palms will kiss and exhale, hands come into prayer and at our heart space. Draw a breath in. Let that breath go. As you take your next breath in, release your palms down to your sides. If your right leg is in front, wonderful. If it's not, not a big deal. Just go ahead and send your right leg behind you. So as that right leg curls behind you, if you have your blanket handy, grab that blanket. Allow yourself to bring the blanket towards this left hip. Fingertips are going to frame the blanket. Draw a breath in. As you exhale, look over towards your left side. Draw another breath in here. And then exhale, begin to fold your body forward using the blanket as a base for your head. You're also welcome to wrap those arms around your prop, whether it's your block, your blanket, your folded towels. Breathe in through the nose. Feel this right hip opening up. As your right hip opens up, you exhale. Twist the belly just a tiny bit. As you twist that belly and it feels nice, stay here. If you need a little bit more, go ahead and take the right ear down onto the prop or down onto the earth and look to that left side. Otherwise, if this is too much, take your time and look over towards that right side and let your left ear rest on the mat instead. Take one more inhale here. Let that breath go. Draw in one last breath in. You let that breath go. Return your forehead down to the blanket, down to the mat. Bring those palms by your side. Press and lift up. As you press and lift up, leave your left hand anchored to the earth. Inhale, scoop that right arm up towards the sky. And then exhale, pull the head of this right elbow towards your right hip. Inhale, extend and lean over. Soften up this left arm. One more breath here. Let that breath go and then inhale, release the right fingertips down, grab that right leg, swing and sweep this right leg all the way around and over. As you sweep and release it all the way around and over, align the knee to your sternum or that heart center. Two different options you ladies and gentlemen have here. One, you can wrap this left arm around your right leg and then exhale, look over to that right side. Keep that right hip glued down. If you need a little bit more, inhale, reach that left arm up. Exhale, drop or bow the heart down. Bring the back of your arm onto this right side and then exhale, twist. So one's a little more, one's not as much, but they both should give you the same sensation of twist and release. Two more, breath in, releasing and letting this right hip anchor, letting go. Last one. Release and let go. On our next breath in, we'll look forward. Those arms come out to the sides. You can release and relax this right leg and then twist the body, bending those elbows just a tiny bit so that you can get spinal fluidity. When you're ready, center, exhale, hands down. Send the weight of the body back. This time we're switching out. So that right shin bone comes forward. We'll take that breath in. We'll kickstand this left leg behind us, bringing your blanket over towards that opposite side. So now it's anchoring on your right hip, and you may have noticed you needed it further out, and that's fine. Take a breath in, relax this left hip, exhale, twist and look over towards the right side of the room. Take one more breath in, shoulders release away from the ears, and then exhale, start to fold your body down, releasing your forehead down onto the blanket. If it's on the mat, that's fine. If this is too much, you can also make it higher by bringing your book and then resting your head on the book instead. Take a full belly breath in. Let that breath go. Feel the left toes engage and reach back. Decide where you'd like your head to be. So if you prefer the head to be on the blanket, or you want your right ear down for a little more, you prefer that left ear for a little less, modify as you see fit this morning for yourself. Take a full breath in here. Feel that extension through the left side of the body. And as you exhale, you'll let it all go. Sigh that breath out if you need. 2 more inhales here. 1 more big breath in. Let that breath go. On your next breath in, bring the forehead or neutralize the spine back down to the mat. Press those palms into the earth. Inhale, we begin to lift and rise up. As we lift and rise up, anchor through that right palm. Inhale, lift that left arm up. Exhale, pull the head of the left elbow towards your left hip. Inhale, extend and reach up. Exhale, extend and reach towards this right side of the room, softly bending this right elbow, pulling the heart open. Maybe you can look up. Maybe for you, looking down is better, or perhaps even coming onto the forearm feels best for you. Take 1 more breath in. Let that breath go. If you're on the forearm, press and lift up. As you press and lift up, bringing this left hand to the left leg, slide and extend this left leg around and over to the right side. Curl the left heel, curling this right heel toward your left hip. Same options. Release the flesh down to the ground. Wrap the arm around the leg, or inhale, extend and reach this right arm up. Exhale, bow down, twist, lift the sternum. As we lift the sternum, exhale, we look over for that deeper sensation. You go with the sensation that feels best for you. Always honor your body. Allow yourself to begin to focus the attention to your mindset. What is the mindset at this moment? Is it accepting? Is it receiving? Are you giving yourself permission to release and let go? 2 more inhales here. Shoulders are soft. 1 more inhale here. And you exhale to let go. On your inhale, look back towards the front, arms release, and we'll release that spine. Let the knee on this left side relax and release. Just twist the body. Once it feels all right for you, fingertips down, slide the weight of the body back. Extend and release both the right and the left leg forward. Give them a little bit of love. I'm going to recommend that you slide your blanket underneath the knees, but if you don't need it, then don't use it. Flexing the toes or pointing them up towards you. Inhale, we'll extend our arms up. Keep the hips anchored, and then exhale, bow your heart forward. Your belly might connect with your thighs, and that's great. And if it doesn't, that's great too. The palms rest down to your sides, either up or down, as you let the crown reach towards the toes. If you need to soften those toes, soften those toes. If you prefer more activity, then that's when the feet stay flexed, or like you're standing on your feet. 1 more breath in, maybe shoulders pull up, and then as you exhale, shoulders pull down. As you take your next breath in, press the palms into the earth, lift the head up, slide your hands along the thighs, bend those knees, remove that rolled blanket or towel, and then exhale, drop your knees to one direction, working your way onto all fours. And then we'll find stillness with our body, stacking both the right and the left hand in line with our shoulders. Curl the toes under, knees come together, draw a breath in, and then exhale. We're going to stretch the bottom of our feet as we send the hips towards the heels. So majority of our weight is towards our heels. Our hands can crawl about 2-3 inches closer towards us. If it's too much, the hands stay forward. So you dictate the amount you need by where you place those hands and how deep you drop your hips towards your heels. Take another breath here, maybe looking to the top of your mat. And as you exhale, you're going to pull the little pinky toes out to the blades or the ends of your mat. Inhale, you're going to roll the big toes and the little toes back towards middle. The ankles might kiss. Exhale, you're going to roll it out. Inhale back to center. You're lifting the frame slightly. And then last time, exhale, you're dropping the toes out. And then inhale, we're rolling in, working our way back onto that tabletop. Lift your feet off the mat, a few circles with your ankles in each direction, and then drop the tops of the feet onto the mat. Big toes kiss. Take those knees as wide as you'd like, maybe the edges of your mat. Sink the hips back and relax the frame down as you extend the fingertips towards the top of your mat. Child's pose. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. If this is uncomfortable, you do have your rolled blanket. You're welcome to slide that in between the hamstring and your calves, and then you have a little more lift and cushion and really honestly just more comfort for your body. Wherever you're at, draw a breath in. Let that breath go. You've got 2 more just like that. Full belly breath in. Releasing the hips and the low spine. Let that breath go. Last breath here. Letting that breath go. On our next inhale, we'll begin to lift and rise up. If you have that blanket rolled up, slide it out. Bring those knees together. Tuck your toes under. As you tuck those toes under, allow the fingers to spread nice and wide. Press through those palms, and then on an inhale, drop the belly down. Retract your shoulders. Lift the chest and chin up for that cow pose. Tops of the feet onto the mat. Exhale, dome your spine. Press out of the body into that cow-like pose. Inhale, cow pose. Soften at the elbows. Lift and reach. Exhale, dome that spine. Look for your navel. One more round. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat it back. On your next breath in, neutralize. And as you neutralize, walk the knees towards one another. Tuck your right toes under. Inhale, take that left leg behind you. As you take that left leg behind you, this may be where you're at today. This could be your modification. If you need an alternative modification, extend and reach your right hand forward. If your shoulders pulled up towards the ears, drag them back down. Feel a long wire. Take one more inhale here, and then exhale. You'll pull the knee in towards the elbow or just the knee in towards the chest. Inhale, long reach, flexing those toes. Exhale, we'll pull it all back in. Inhale, we'll extend. Exhale together. On our next breath in, we reach long, and then exhale. If you have your right hand up, drop it down. Send your left toes over towards the right side of the room. Look over your right shoulder. Exhale the breath. Press this left hip towards that left side. Take a full belly breath in here. Let that breath go. You've got 2 more just like that. Use your own breath to move, to feel the release. Last one in. Let it go. Keep your legs just the way they are, but inhale. Take that gaze back towards the short end or the top of your mat. Begin to bend your left knee behind that right one. Crawl to the center of the mat. Send the blades of your feet out to the edges of the mat. And then as you exhale, begin to drop your belly onto the thighs, sending the hips further towards the back of your mat. Your chin can rest at your chest. You're welcome to grab that blanket, roll it up, and instead support your head by resting your forehead or that space between our eyebrows on that rolled blanket. If this is even too far, then just lift up. You're welcome to be here with the palms on the mat or the forearms down on the mat or the fist stacked. Take another breath in. Feel this right hip drop down. Let that breath go. Take one more breath in. Let it go. On your next inhale, lift the head, look forward, remove what's necessary to be moved out of your way. Bring your knees down to the mat. Extend and straighten that left leg behind you. Hook your right foot to the right side of the mat. Anchor through your right palm. Inhale, take that side plank opening or on the knee. Full belly breath in. You're pressing through the blade of this left foot. Another breath in. Let that breath go. On your next breath in, take this left hand, bring it to your left hip. Slide the weight of the body forward so that you can anchor your shoulder with the wrist. And then if it's possible, inhale, lift that left leg up. Curl the heel in towards the body. Rotation of your shoulders. So external rotation, the palm flips. Non-external rotation, the palm stays down. So decide what you need. If you're always hoping to have that big heart opener, then it's external rotation. Otherwise, just grab the top of the foot. Take a breath in here. Let that breath go here. You've got one more just like that. Let that breath go. Then we'll inhale, release, extend the arm and the leg, drop the blade of that left foot down, sweep this left hand around and over, rotate the hips so they're squared. And then lift and float that left leg, bend the knee, and trace big giant circles. One direction, the opposite direction. And then return that knee down to the mat. Wiggle your hips right side to left side. Work your way back to center. We're going to take figure eights going towards the right side of the room. I enjoy starting at the back and then inhale, taking my heart to the top right corner, around to the left. Exhale, I send my hip to that back right corner, sweep it to the left. So just imagine your head, your body is this pencil or this pen, and you're just tracing this kaleidoscope in one direction. Take one more in this direction. Finish at the end. Now go ahead and take the hips over towards that opposite side and you'll trace the opposite direction. So when you're ready, take the heart over towards that top left corner, around to the right. Send the left hip to the back left corner, around to the right. Use the breath. If you've lost that connection with the breath, the mind, the body, and the spirit, come back to that. Return to your centering thought. Return to your mantra. Releasing, letting go, having fun. Find that balance. Last circle in whatever direction you're going. Pause in the middle. As you pause in the middle, stack on all fours, tucking your left toes under. Inhale, that right leg goes out. Modify if you need. Stay here. Modify if you prefer. Extend that left hand forward. You have 3 crunch curls. When you're ready, breath in. And then exhale, you'll tuck it in. Inhale, you'll extend, flex the foot, squeeze the glute. Exhale, pull it in, soften it. One more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull it in. And then inhale, last time we reach long. Palm goes down, right foot slides over towards this left side of the room. Take a breath in. Exhale, looking over our left shoulder, press your right hip as far away towards that right as you can. Last breath in, last breath out. Keep the legs just the way they are, and then inhale, look to the top of the mat. Bending your right knee behind that left one. Walk your knees to the middle, send the blades of your feet out to the edges. And then as you exhale, begin to relax and release your hips towards the back end of the mat. Heart is on the thighs, those arms extend, or the elbows rest on the mat, or you can even stack your blankets, your towels, so that you have that support for your head. Notice what's going on as you breathe here. Is your back expanding like a giant balloon, or are you compromising your breath? If you think you're compromising your breath, lift up. Do your very best not to compromise the breath. Instead, you want it to be unanimous and in sync with the body. Just a couple more inhales here. Releasing the hips, the low spine, allowing the inner thighs to squeeze together. You might even notice that you have your knee is touching a portion of your outside edge of the shin. We have little meridian lines there. Our gallbladder might feel good. You might have a tingling sensation. Last breath here. Let that breath go. Palms down onto the mat. Inhale, lift the head off of the mat or your props, bringing the knees back down. Extend and straighten your right leg behind you. Hook the left foot to the left edge of the mat. Press through that left palm. Inhale, side plank on our knee. Find your comfort. Breathe in through the nose. Out of the nose, reach to the crown of your head, shoulders in line with the wrist. On your next inhale, lift and float your right leg up. As you lift and float it, point the toes, curl the heel in towards the glutes. Decide once more, external rotation or non-external rotation. Either way, it's what feels comfortable in your body. What you're doing is perfect. Honoring yourself, enjoying the time you gifted this morning. One last breath here. Let that breath go. And your next breath in, you'll release. Extend the arm and the leg. Blade of your foot goes down. Extend and slide this right arm around down to the mat. Square the hips. As you square the hips, lift right leg up. Bend the knee. Giant circles with the knee in one direction and in the opposite direction. And then releasing down. Wiggle any direction that you need. Maybe lift the wrist, giving it a little bit of love, returning those palms back down. We'll tuck our toes under, hips shift back, knees lift up. Exhale, tilt yourself into an inverted V, also known as downward facing dog. Start to paddle or bend the right knee, straightening the left back and forth. Elongation of the hamstrings, release of the calves. Notice the texture of the mat as your feet push and lift. Is it squishy? Is it firm? Is it cool? Is it warm? And none of those things truly have an incorrect answer. It's just we're noticing. Begin to slow the paddling down and then find stillness in downward facing dog. Hollow out your armpits. The heels might be lifted, and that's perfectly fine. Retract your shoulders away from your ears. Let your head hang and say a yes with it. Let your head hang and say a no with it. And then pause in the middle. On our next inhale, lift the heels up higher than normal. Bend your knees generously, looking forward. Either walk your feet towards the top of the mat so that you're walking towards your thumbs, or begin to walk your hands towards your feet instead, either or. As you get to the top, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift it up halfway, a flat back. Send the tailbone back. Keep a soft bend at the knees. And then exhale, bow it back down. Separate your feet as wide as you'd like. Take your elbows and grab them with your hands for that ragdoll pose. Rock your body from the right side of the room to the left side of the room. Press through the pinky side blades of your feet. Notice the arch on your foot, on each one, right and left. Come back to center. As you return to center, release your hands down to the ground or even the tops of the feet, whichever is accessible to you, or shin bones. Heel toe your feet all the way back together. Pull the navel in firmly, and then inhale, squeeze that Kegel muscle or perineum muscle and rise all the way up. Circle sweep those arms up, palms kiss. Exhale, our hands come into prayer and at our heart space. Inhale, those shoulders pull up. Exhale, those shoulders roll down. Inhale, we circle sweep those arms back up towards the sky. We'll exhale, pull the heads of our elbows down, expand our heart. Inhale, invite your arms back up. Exhale, forward fold, plant those palms down on the mat. Step back with your right foot. Drop your right knee down to the mat. Send the palms back and then inhale, rise up for that low lunge. As you rise up for low lunge, arms reaching up. Exhale, you'll release those palms down to your side. Send the weight of the body back. Float the hands towards the back. Open your heart a little bit more. Take another breath here. Let that breath go here. One more. Let it go. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, that left hand to the left side. Right fingertips extend and reach over towards your left edge. Send this left hip back. Feel the length through this right side. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, the hands come down. They frame that front foot. If you have a block, if you have a book, if you need any elevation, use it. And then you'll exhale, send the hips back, straightening this front left leg. As we straighten our front leg, we're releasing that hamstring. You might even want to give yourself some gentle TLC, and that could be squeezing the calf. That could be releasing the glute. Just letting your muscles, the tissues know that it's okay to let go. We can let go many things. We can let go of tension that we hold in those muscles, in our tissues. We can let go of negative thoughts that truly do not serve our higher purpose. It's all about release, acceptance, peace, and balance today. Take one more breath in. Let that breath go. On our next inhale, we'll lift the head up. Return the sole of the left foot down. Tuck our right toes, lift that right knee. Walk your hands a foot forward or so, and then step forward. Exhale for a forward fold. Inhale, lift it up halfway. Exhale, fold it back down. Inhale, reverse and rise all the way up. Circle sweep those arms up. Exhale, head to the elbows, pull down. As our elbows pull down, pull your ribs together like you're tying a shoe. And then inhale, those arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Release those palms down to the mat. This time, step back with your left foot. Release the left knee down. Top of the left foot on the ground. Low lunge when you're ready. Inhale, drive the body up. Be proud, be strong. Take another breath here. And then exhale, the hands release down to the sides. Palms point towards the front. Inhale, you open the heart. Keep those hips level. A little Titanic here. Another breath in. Another breath out. On our inhale, we look forward. The arms reach up. As those arms reach up, we'll exhale, side bend over towards our right side, right hand down. Left fingertips extend and reach. This is a good place to rest your hand on your hip, or if you have your block handy, you can place your fingertips on the block. Your choice, or even the elbow without dipping down too far. One more breath here. Let that breath go. Inhale, the arms reach up, neutralize the body. Exhale, frame your right foot. Take your time, breathe in. And then exhale, straighten the leg, shift your hips towards the back end of your mat. If you're wondering what the props look like, block on one side if that's all you have. If you have the support of your beach towels or towels, it may look like this. Take a full breath in. Let that breath go. Inhale, you can lift. Sliding the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, you'll bow down just a little more. If you gave self-care, that self-massage, maybe here you take that right hand and you begin to squeeze your calf muscle, working your way up to the quad. Just letting the body know that it's okay to be receptive here, to release, surrendering. 2 more inhales. Last breath in. Sigh it out if you'd like. Press into the palms, lift the body up, return the sole of your right foot down, curl your back toes, lift that back knee. This time you're stepping back. So slide your right foot towards the back end of the mat, march it out as you come into downward facing dog. On our next inhale, we'll find stillness and tilt our hips up on that exhale. One breath here in downward facing dog. And that breath out here. As you take your next breath in, lift the heels, roll the spine forward, working your way into plank. Plank on our knees, elbows in. We'll exhale, lower our chest and our belly all the way down. Our hands are going to send themselves out towards the edges or beyond the mat. You're going to pull the elbows back. If you prefer palms down, that's great. If not, tent the fingers. Pull the shoulder blades together. You're still looking down at your mat. If your back is tender, take wide legs. If your back is okay, you might have more tight mermaid legs, whichever feels right for you. Inhale, you'll lift up. Strength through the core, strength through that low spine. Breathe in through the nose. And then exhale, release and lower down. Inhale on your breath, your time, lift up. It may be 1/2 inch and that's fine. As long as you're pulling the shoulders back, you're cinching the scapulas together. On an exhale, release your right shoulder to the middle of the mat. Look over your left side. Breathe in completely through the capacity of the lung. Let that breath go here. Inhale, work your way back to center. Taking this left shoulder down, look over towards that right side. Breathing in through the nose and out of the nose. On your next inhale, work your way back to center, and then exhale, lower the frame down. Release those fingers, slide those palms back down by your breastbones, walking your knees back towards middle if needed, pulling the elbows in. Inhale, you'll rise up into plank on your knees, and then exhale, you'll send the hips back, toes are together, knees narrow or wide, child's pose. Take a breath in here. Let that breath go. You're here 2 more. And if you prefer to send your arms down towards the heels, you can bring those arms towards the heels. If you prefer to stack the fist, getting that little pressure point, the space between your eyebrows, that's an option as well. Last inhale here. Last exhale. If your arms are to your sides or the fists are stacked on the inhale, extend them back forward into traditional child's pose and then rise up. As you rise up, work your knees towards midline and then start to walk your knees forward. Sweep the legs in one direction, swing those legs forward. We're going to work our way onto our glutes. As we come down to those glutes, hands rest around our hammies and we'll lower our body down. Pull those knees in towards your chest. As the knees come in towards the chest, maybe push them out a little bit and then trace big giant circles or small little circles with your knees clockwise, hitting the points of the hips, the iliac crest. If you have any sciatic issues, sometimes this feels really good, but if you feel like you're causing discomfort, then perhaps instead of doing this, you let the soles of the feet rest on the mat and windshield wiper your legs back and forth. Switch the direction of your circles, so now we're going to go counterclockwise. Every individual is slightly different, so accommodations for everybody. Go ahead and pause, and as you pause, take those hands around the hamstrings, give yourself a nice little tuck, and then inhale, those legs are gonna go straight up. You're gonna wiggle those toes just to feel the hip points drop down. Taking a breath in, letting that breath go. Go ahead and begin to release the sole of your left foot down, cross this right leg for figure 4 on our back. If this is enough for you, stay right here. If you need a little bit more, lift the sole of that left foot up, flex your right foot. Right hand goes through our little number 4 or triangle window, and then this left hand goes on the outside edge of our thigh, left thigh. Interlace your fingers like you're weaving a basket, wrap them around the hamstring or behind the thigh, around that backside. Slowly guide your left knee in towards your body and let gravity take over as this right leg reaches towards the opposite direction. Breath in and breath out. Through the nostrils if possible. But at any point you need that cleansing breath, take that cleansing breath. Feel your shoulders relax away from your ears. Let your tailbone be soft and rolled out. 2 more inhales. 1 last inhale. Releasing the interlacing of the hands. Don't remove your right leg yet. Cross this right leg over. So if you recall when we were on the ground, a couple of times we've had our legs the same direction. This time you're going to take your right hand, grab that left leg somewhere, and then that left hand grabs that right leg somewhere. It could be the knee, it could be the shin bones, it could be your ankles. Pull those knees in towards your chest, or if you prefer, pull the heels in towards your glutes, or even your toes up. Just further releasing along the glute max, glute med, activation, to the outside edge of our IT band. The low spine should feel really more pliable at this point. Take another breath here. Let that breath go. Gently begin to release. Now you're welcome to extend those legs back up towards the ceiling. If you want to hold on to the back of the legs, hold on to the back of your legs, but if you prefer not to, then your palms can be to your side. If they're to your side, you're really working more on that core engagement. So navel towards the spine without forcing it, and pelvic floor muscle or perineum muscle engaged. One more inhale here. And then on that exhale, we'll bend that right knee, cross that left ankle over. Let the thigh relax. Thread the needle when you're ready. Whatever you're doing, if you would, please just flex the left foot to protect the joints, the ligaments of our knee. But your right ankle can wiggle any way you choose. If you feel like you're really forcing your shoulders up towards your ears, see where you can release. Come back to that intention or our mantra we set for ourselves today to release, to find peace. We have 2 more inhales here. One more big giant breath in. As you release the bind, you'll cross this left leg over towards the right side. You'll grab the legs and you'll decide where you want your heels, your knees, or those toes. Making space for your body. Breathing in through the nose. And out of the nose. Two more inhales here. Notice how your arms start to give way. They begin to relax, especially as your low back has the ability to surrender. Last breath in. And maybe an open mouth sigh. Letting go. Legs extend up towards the ceiling. Hands can either anchor the hamstrings or the palms can rest to your side. Take another 2 inhales here. Become at peace with yourself as you invite gentleness, mindfulness, and kindness into your present moment. As you exhale, gently begin to bend your knees, lowering the soles of your feet down, taking them out to the edges of the mat, letting your knees kiss, and then windshield wiper those legs right side to left side. As we windshield those legs, once you're ready to return to center, return to center. Heel toe your feet all the way back towards one another. Heels come close to our glutes. We're going to take one bridge just as a decompression of our low spine. Palms come to the mat, close to our hips, close to our heels. Press to the big toe knuckle, little toe, and a big point on your heel. And then inhale, looking directly up, you'll lift your hips up. If your chin collided with your chest, imagine you're walking your fingertips towards the heels. Feel the thighs activate. You only have one more breath here. There's strength in your body. There's joy and gratitude in your heart. You'll release the breath and your back onto the mat. If your shoulders were underneath, release them out. And then just find yourself releasing that tailbone, taking a moment just to find stillness, observing the texture, the surface where your hands rest, where your feet rest, and maybe even the temperature that circulates around your body. Complete and total awareness. When you decide it's time, pull those knees in towards your body, cactus or T those arms, breathing in through the nose. And we'll exhale, supine twist to the right. Knees release to the right. Fetal position if necessary, and then exhale. You can begin to look over towards your left side. Another breath in. And that breath out. Inhale, work your way back to center. Exhale, knees fall over towards our left side. Fetal position if you need it first. And then on that inhale, you can extend the right arm over. And as we exhale, you can look over towards this right side. Eyes can be closed. Notice if they're soft within the eye sockets, or if you furrow those eyebrows or you're squinching your eyes, let it go. If your jaw is tight, relax, release. Big inhale through the nose and a big release. We'll return back to center on our next breath in. If there's still anything you need, whatever it looks like for you, know that you're welcome to go there. But if you're ready to surrender into our final pose for today, give yourself a nice tuck, a squeeze, and a hug. Inhale, you'll release. Exhale, you'll find Shavasana as our final resting pose. You have all kinds of goodies around you. If there's anything that's going to make you more comfortable, then encourage yourself to set that up and release. Let your back become restful, the shoulders soft, toes and fingers curl all on their own. You're not resisting and you're not forcing. You're just being. Let go of the breath as you begin to breathe more natural. The mind wanders. Acknowledge it and those thoughts. Then give yourself permission to return to the present restful moment, nourishing mind, body, and spirit. bringing awareness back to your space, back to your physical presence. Begin by taking a full breath in through your nose. And then sighing that breath out, letting go. Invite gentle movement back into your fingers, your toes, wrist, ankles. And then awakening the neck and the spine. Let your head rock from right side to left side. When you're ready to return into a neutral position, take that big good morning stretch as your legs come together and your arms reach over your head. If you have a yawn, yawn. Arch the spine if it feels good. And as you exhale, release those arms down to your sides. Begin to roll over towards that right side. Find that fetal position. As you rise up, hands into prayer and at your heart space, closing those eyes, we'll breathe in. And we'll exhale, sigh that breath out, and bow to each other, to ourselves, and to our journey. From my heart to yours. Namaste.